"Well, everyone's here," my mother whispered to my father. "Tell your son to change the locks at her apartment." My name is Lauren Reeves, 29. I was cutting my own birthday cake when she said it. Dad didn't blink. "After dessert," he told my brother Nathan. Forks clinked. I kept my face steady and the knife moving. Mom has always treated my life like a project plan. I'm the task to be handled. Nathan stood, keys jingling like a verdict, and walked out. I didn't argue. I watched. I remembered what I'd found in a dusty attic box last month and what it could prove if I needed it. An hour later, he returned, pale. "There's police tape around her door." The table went still. If family is protection, why did mine start with a lock? Have you ever realized fairness at home was just control? If stories like this resonate with you, stay with me. There's more ahead. And if you'd like, a quiet like or sub helps me keep telling them. I'd paid for the entire dinner, hoping peace could be bought for once. A quiet restaurant, candles, laughter that didn't sound rehearsed. That was my wish. But my family doesn't do quiet. They do power. They do control disguised as care. As Mom leaned across the table, pretending to fix a napkin, I saw it. The spark in her eyes that always meant someone was about to be humiliated. Usually, me. Nathan and his wife were already smiling like they knew the script. Growing up, Mom built our world around my brother's orbit. He was the sun, I was the satellite. Even my birthdays had gravity that belonged to him. When I got my first apartment, she said it was cute, then gave Nathan a down payment for a house. I told myself it didn't matter. I was independent. But independence doesn't mean immunity. That night, as the waiter poured champagne, Dad joked about security again. "A woman alone should be careful," he said. "Good thing Nathan's around to help." Everyone laughed except me. I looked at my mother, who smiled as if this entire evening were a test I was failing. When Nathan finally returned and told them about the police tape, the laughter died. I watched Mom's face, the shock, the fear, and realized something rare. She hadn't planned for this. For once, her control cracked. But before anyone could react, my phone buzzed. An unknown number. "Ms. Reeves, this is Officer Grant from Portland PD. Please contact us immediately regarding your apartment." Every sound in the restaurant seemed to disappear. I felt their eyes on me. My mother's sharp, my father's confused, Nathan's trembling. I stood without a word, chair scraping the tile like an alarm. Outside, the air was cold enough to bite. My car keys shook in my hand as I dialed the number. Officer Grant's calm voice confirmed what I already feared. There had been a break-in. My apartment door forced open. Nothing stolen, nothing missing, just violated. By the time I reached home, red and blue lights painted the building. An officer met me at the curb. "You're the tenant?" he asked. I nodded. "Then you'll want to hear this." I thought I understood betrayal, but that night I learned what it sounds like when it's written in silence. The night outside my apartment felt unreal, like someone had peeled back the world and left me staring into its hollow center. Police tape fluttered under the streetlights, whispering with each gust of wind. I followed Officer Grant upstairs, each step echoing against the walls I once called safe. The door to my apartment hung crooked, the lock splintered. Inside, everything looked untouched. My couch, my books, even the mug I'd left in the sink that morning. Only the air had changed. It carried the weight of someone else's presence. Grant scanned the room quietly, his flashlight brushing across the photos on my shelves. "Who else has access to your keys, Ms. Reeves?" he asked. I hesitated. "My brother, Nathan Reeves." He stopped writing. "And why would your brother break into your apartment?" I swallowed hard, because my mother told him to. His pen froze midair. He looked up slowly. "Can you repeat that?" I met his eyes, steady now. At dinner tonight, she told my father to have Nathan change my locks. I heard her say it. Something shifted in his expression, a mix of surprise and caution. "We'll review the footage from the building," he said, voice even. "For now, I need you to stay somewhere safe." But where is safe when home becomes evidence? While the officers dusted for prints, I sat on the curb outside, hands wrapped around my knees. The city hummed around me, cars passing, someone laughing down the block. But it all sounded distant. What echoed loudest was Mom's voice, casual and cruel. "Change her locks." Grant crouched beside me. "Ms. Reeves," he said, glancing at his tablet, "the prints inside don't match you or your brother." I frowned. "Then who?" He turned the screen toward me. A man named Thomas Hale. Does that name mean anything to you? My breath caught. He's my landlord's nephew, handles maintenance. Grant nodded grimly. He's already in custody. We have footage. He used a copied key last night. He's under investigation for multiple unlawful entries. A shiver ran through me. What was he doing inside? You may want to see this, Grant said softly. Back upstairs, he led me into the living room. Every framed photo of me and my son, Liam, had been turned face down. On the coffee table lay a single envelope. Grant gestured to it. That was on your couch when we arrived. My hands trembled as I opened it. Inside was a printed message. Tell your mother the truth always finds its way home. The words blurred as I read them again and again. The phrase hit too precisely, too personally. He wasn't breaking in to steal, I whispered. He was delivering something. Grant studied me. Delivering what? A message, I said. For her. For the first time, the fear in my mother's eyes at dinner made sense. She wasn't scheming. She was scared. Of what, I wasn't sure yet, but I could feel the thread tightening between us, pulling me towards something ugly she'd tried to bury. When I finally left the scene, dawn was beginning to gray the sky. My apartment stood silent behind the police tape, a monument to everything I no longer trusted. I got into my car, gripping the steering wheel until my knuckles turned white. I'd spent years thinking my mother's cruelty was about control. Now I wondered if it was about survival. By morning, the rain had washed the city clean, but my thoughts were a mess of unfinished questions. 3 missed calls from Mom, 1 from an unknown number, and a voicemail from Officer Grant that changed everything. Ms. Reeves, his voice said, calm but sharp, we've confirmed that Thomas Hale received an anonymous payment last week, wired from a bank account under your mother's name. For a moment, I couldn't breathe. The words didn't sound real. I sat frozen, phone pressed to my ear as if silence could undo them. My mother had hired the man who broke into my home. When I called Grant back, my voice barely held steady. You're sure? Yes, he said. The payment was marked for maintenance services, but given the timing and the note, it's likely deliberate. We believe your mother was trying to retrieve something. Retrieve what? I thought bitterly. I owned nothing she didn't already manipulate. Then it hit me. The box in the attic. The one labeled Dad's business papers. Inside, I'd found property deeds signed by both of them but never declared in taxes. I hadn't told anyone. Grant, I whispered. What happens if someone used my name on documents I never signed? He paused. That depends on intent. Were you aware of any assets in your name? No, but I think I know who was. Within an hour, I was sitting across from him at the precinct, the evidence folder open between us. Photos of the letter, the damaged door, and the payment records. Grant studied my face. Would you like to file charges against your mother? I hesitated. The word mother still carried a weight I wasn't ready to set down. Not yet, I said finally. I need to know what she was hiding first. He nodded. Then talk to her, but carefully. That evening, I texted her. Dinner, my place. 7:00 p.m. No games this time. Her reply came within seconds. Fine, but I hope you're ready for the truth. By the time the knock came, I was. The storm outside was already rolling in, thunder distant but growing. Mom stepped inside like she owned the space. Her perfume filled the room, expensive and suffocating. You shouldn't have involved the police, she said coolly. I folded my arms. You shouldn't have sent someone to break into my home. Watch your tone, she snapped. You don't understand what's going on. Then explain it. She sat, crossing her legs with precision. Your father's business dealings weren't simple. Those papers you found, they don't belong to you. Thomas was supposed to retrieve them quietly before you did something stupid. I stared at her, disbelief turning to clarity. You hired a criminal to protect your lies. I was protecting you, she said, her voice softening, practiced. There are things you don't need to know. No, Mom, I said quietly. You've been protecting your image, not me. Her mask slipped. For the first time, I saw the fear beneath the control. You think you're smarter than us, Lauren. You have no idea what those documents could expose. I leaned forward, voice steady. Then tell me, before the truth does it for you. Thunder cracked outside, rattling the windows. Neither of us moved. I'd come to dinner expecting answers. But what I saw in her eyes wasn't guilt. It was panic. And that terrified me more than anything she'd ever said. Thunder rolled closer, shaking the windows as if the world itself wanted to witness what came next. My mother paced in front of me, her heels clicking sharp against the floor. "You don't understand what's at stake, Lauren," she hissed. "If those documents go public, your father could face prison time." I stood still, watching the reflection of lightning crawl across the glass. "You should have thought of that before you put my name on fake property deeds." Her face went pale, then still. The silence that followed felt heavier than any storm outside. "I found everything," I continued. "Transfers under my ID, signatures that aren't mine, even emails to Thomas. You didn't just drag me into your lies, you built them on me." She opened her mouth, but no sound came. Finally, her voice cracked. "You were supposed to trust us." "I did," I said quietly, "for 29 years, and all it gave me was debt, therapy, and a lock changed by your son." Her composure fractured. "You wouldn't go to the police," she whispered, half pleading. "You're not that cruel." I met her eyes. "You broke into my home, forged my name, and endangered my child. What would you call that?" For the first time, she looked small, not powerful, not in control, just cornered by the consequences she'd spent decades outrunning. "We did it to protect the family," she said faintly. "No," I replied. "You did it to protect yourselves." The storm outside split the sky in two, and something in me did the same. I reached for my phone, opened the recording app, and placed it on the table between us. "Then let's talk," I said. Her eyes widened. "You're recording me? I'm documenting the truth. You taught me that appearances matter. So let's make this one count." Her tone hardened again. "You'll regret this." "Maybe," I said, "but at least it'll be my regret." I pressed play, my voice steady, hers trembling as the conversation unfolded. Every word she'd spent years hiding was now evidence. When she finally realized it, she stood abruptly. "You don't know what you're doing." "Oh, I do," I said. "I'm ending this quietly, before it destroys me too." She moved toward the door, pausing just long enough to deliver her last line like a curse. "If you go through with this, you'll never have a family again." I met her gaze, calm as the thunder faded. "Then maybe it's time I build one worth having." The door shut behind her. The echo lingered, but fear didn't. Only relief, strange and quiet, like air after lightning. When she was gone, I saved the recording, labeled it, and sent a copy to Officer Grant. Then I sat down, staring at the rain sliding down the window pane. It looked like the world was crying for her, but I couldn't. I wasn't angry anymore, just awake. For years, my mother had written the narrative. The dutiful daughter, the ungrateful child, the family's quiet disappointment. But that night, I took back the pen. And for the first time, the story was mine. The next morning, the storm had passed. The city streets glistened with rainlight, the air washed clean, as if the world itself had pressed restart. I drove straight to the Financial Crimes Division, a folder of evidence on the seat beside me, my quiet weapon, my boundary made real. Officer Grant met me in the lobby. "You're sure about this?" he asked gently. I nodded. I'm done being their cover story. He flipped through the documents, the fake deeds, the transfers, the signatures that weren't mine. "Once this goes through," he said, "they'll open a full investigation. You'll be cleared." I exhaled a sound that felt like release. Good, I've spent too long carrying what isn't mine. That afternoon, I turned off my phone and went to pick up Liam from his checkup. He ran toward me, gold star sticker shining on his shirt. "Mom, I did good," he beamed. I smiled, kneeling to hug him. "So did I, sweetheart. You just can't see my star yet." That night, I sent one last email to my mother. "The files have been turned in. Please stop contacting me. If you need a lawyer, use the one who told me to protect myself." Then I closed the laptop and let the silence settle. Weeks later, when the news broke, local couple under federal review for fraud, daughter identified as victim, I didn't watch. I didn't need to. I'd already lived it. The bank seized their accounts. My father resigned. My mother stopped calling. For once, her silence wasn't punishment. It was peace. I looked at Liam playing on the floor, the city lights flickering through the window. Love without boundaries becomes a weapon. And peace, I learned, isn't given. It's claimed. Have you ever had to choose self-respect over approval?